Dialing in the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready.
And I've been I've been trying to explain that to John. John just doesn't, this is totally fine. Again, John, because they watch all the time, so I don't want John to think I'm not talking shit about it, because these are just like some of the conversations we have. But he just doesn't believe like any media really at all anymore. He feels like even that the Hill, Rising has bought into like the regular, which I don't.
And I don't blame him.
Certainly.
And I will say on the Rising, because I know you love the Rising, and I do too,
it's
right?
Good. I see what he sees. Yeah. But
because
I've not.
They're trying to be this overall style is much more mainstream, which they themselves, and we've heard them on other things. They're not those people, and they're not doing that. But it's like you put all the clothes on, like it. You get this weird feeling, so I don't blame people for that.
No,
but I can attest. I've looked into it. They're solid.
Yeah,
you might feel weird watching it.
But I mean, she's very progressive, crystal ball. And John is very conservative. Like that's just who he is. So there's just a lot of shit that doesn't, and they represent I feel very, maybe not mainstream views, but like classical Democratic and classical progressive.
They're much more
classical
grounded
Republican views. Yeah, that's how these parties used to be, and so it sounds almost.
It sounds like which is funny. Sometimes it sounds like they switch sides.
Not industry politicians, but
industry politicians,
career politicians,
career
something.
Politicians. Establishment.
Thank you very much. Yes, exactly. It sounds very establishment. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who they are, but it's genuine. So I see what he sees, and in his view,
that's the way politics used to be. Exactly. By the way, it used to be for policy wonks and stuff like that.
And we'll
for
talk
us.
about Joe Biden giving a peek into past politics, because it was super gross.
I'm so excited. This is good. It's going to be an educational one for me.
But because John sees media that way, he does not buy any of the polls at all, right? And I also don't. Tyler asked me about this week too. That he was like, "What do you think of the polls?" I'm like, I don't put all my stock in the polls, but you have to trust them at least a little bit, because there's some truth to it. Whether it's only a little bit, there is that plus or minus 4 points or whatever the fuck. But they're also trying their best to put that into it that you need to expect this. So,
and an important factor to remember, if you're one of those people that has a really hard time trusting polls in general, because. Well, we'll just start here. You need to understand that they have a financial interest in not being too partisan, because it means that it undermines the reason they exist.
The legitimacy of their polls. Yeah.
Yes. And so they have an interest there. And so it's really important, though, because you are going to get skews in polling and stuff like this. It's important to go to these polling businesses and do research on how they collect their data and who they're collecting it from.
Look at hella polls.
Yes, because
excuse me.
And then dig down into the polls and find out the context behind those polls, because they may be a reflection that is not entirely correct as to the reality that's happening on the ground, because these are so unprecedented times. But they do have a lot to say, as long as you know what they're saying.
Right.
So don't take them at face value, but there is value to them.
And so I bring that up because I don't remember what you were saying, but we were talking, John and I have been talking about the likelihood. Oh, Donald Trump throwing away the election, right?
Yeah.
Just then, and I'm
not. Nope. Come take it.
And John still feels very strongly that. And I don't. Again, if you feel, I'm not trying to misrepresent John's views. I just don't want him to see this and be like, "What the fuck?" But he still feels very strongly like Donald Trump is going to take the election, and I think that's a valid viewpoint. But from everything that I've seen, I think there's a real. It's very close at this point. Even the polls are so wild that I don't buy like everyone does. They're like, now it's Joe Biden's, but I think that it's fucking close. You know what I'm saying? I don't. 2 months ago, I was like, there's no way Donald Trump doesn't win. There's no way he doesn't pull it out. This is exactly how it was before. It's going to be just like this again. But now I'm like,
long ago.
I really don't know how this is going to happen. I genuinely don't know. And
for so many reasons.
And I've been trying to tell him. I'm like, I understand that you don't believe all of this, but I'm telling you, I'd be consuming mad information. And I'm telling you, it is fucking close out here. Like From everything that I consume, I could not call it. I don't feel confident saying either way, especially from what I saw from the town halls. I don't know, bro. I don't know. A lot of it's going to depend, I think, on this next election or the next debate if it happens, because I think there's a lot of other people that really don't know.
Yep.
We saw on the way here on 305 and whatever, coming
Trump
down
flags.
into no,
a Biden
it
one.
was all Democratic stuff. All Biden,
Oh.
Harris, fuck Trump, fuck Christopher Columbus, pussy hats, pink pussy hats,
Oh.
all over the place. Pro-life, everything, or pro-choice, all over the place. Yeah,
Wow.
the whole double corners. Yeah, fat. Yeah, big orange baby with Donald Trump's hair.
It's on
Like
305
on
and
a-
one?
on
Well, I don't want to dox them or nothing, but like,
no, it's whatever the road is that you Bond. Yeah, Bond and 305 at that intersection, the four-way intersection.
word.
Yes.
Interesting. That's not usually a popular spot for demonstration.
No, it's just a huge popular road. Like it's
Yeah,
a very
exactly.
busy road. Yeah. So on either corner, if you're going straight like we are, then it was on this corner on the right. And
Were these
then,
were like people and stuff out there too, or were just
oh,
signs and
there
stuff?
was probably
Good. Okay.
30 people on one side and then like 50 people on the opposite side next to the nursery. Yeah, there was hell of people out there.
The nice thing
all
is
Democratic
there's-
shit.
that intersection is so slam packed with traffic most of the
People
day.
were honking.
Yeah, so it's just it's safe
Yeah, no,
to
they
do
were
that
down.
because
Yeah.
traffic's just like crawling.
Exactly. Yeah, no, the
Interesting.
people, and I mean, it's Paulsville, so people were down for the clown, down for whatever they were doing.
I saw, it was one day this week. Might have even been like a day last weekend, but there were some demonstrators down on our intersection to turn up Hansville Road,
Word.
right? And they were out there protesting the and I think we've mentioned this before when it comes to like women or people trafficking,
Yes.
child trafficking,
Yes.
missing women on Indian reservations and things like that
Yes.
on the tribal lands, and they were out there demonstrating for that, and I was just like,
That's awesome.
I give them a beep beep. I was
Yeah.
like, that's fucking. You don't see that a lot,
No,
and that was awesome to see that. It was really cool.
that I like. We talked a
Yeah.
lot on the way here
lot
about the
of
different
demonstrating
reasons
going
that
on.
people demonstrate and protest and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yep.
was so I was like, I obviously am down for the fact that they are expressing their free opinion because I think that that's what people should do. So that I think that a lot of these particular opinions are misinformed, so I
Absolutely.
don't agree with that.
Word.
Said, but I 1,000%
I
respect
love
their
to
right
see
to
it.
do it.
I love to
But
see the
something
enthusiasm.
like what you're seeing, what I'm saying, where they're protesting fucking child trafficking and shit.
Yes.
1,000%. That I will
Amazing.
1,000% buy in. This one that we saw, I'm like 60% bought it because I don't fuck with what you're doing, but I fuck with your right to do it, and
Yeah.
I would murder somebody to try and stop you. You know what I'm saying?
And especially these days when so many demonstrations get hijacked by violent, people, right? Violent, foreign violent adversaries, whatever it is. What's the word I'm trying to think of? They work their way in and amongst the movement, and then
insurgents?
insurgent, yeah, and then they come in there and ruin it by starting fucking violence and shit,
Yes.
right? And it's so nice to see all these demonstrations more and more now
Chilling.
that are just chilling and everything's going about it the way they're supposed to, and they're out there because they care and they're concerned. And,
And
blah,
we're
blah, blah,
talking
and
about it here, so they're getting exposure.
Word.
Because all the people that were here today, again, thank everyone for joining us. Oh my God, I almost forgot. You got to tell me what you ate before we. What?
I made some sweet biscuits and gravy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, it was the money.